help if I'd start out on the right screen. Here we go. 8.5, this is our last section of this chapter, and it is volume of spheres. So here's my equation. It starts out with a 4/3 pi and then r cubed. So I'm no longer doing r squared. For a sphere, you need to do r to the third power. But the nice thing about this is the only thing I have to figure out is what your radius is. So if we look at this first one, write down my equation. So I'm going to drop down 4/3. Instead of pi, I use 3.14. And then my radius is 6 cubed. Okay, if you have this calculator, or one like it, 4/3 times 3.14 times 6, you always look for this little caret button right here, and that puts it to the third power. And you should get 904.3 millimeters cubed. Okay, let me grab another calculator. If you have this calculator, you can do 4/3 times 3.14 times 6, and then you hit this button right here above the division sign, and that puts it to the third power, and then hit equal 904. So that's your little caret button on that one. Okay, if you have a different calculator, look for a button that looks like this, or look for a button that looks like that, or some of yours have a little button that looks like that on your calculator as well. So that should be what gets you the third power. All right, for the next one, example 2, we got 4/3, 3.14. Now this time, my radius is not 22 because that line goes all the way through the circle. My radius would be 11 because I'm taking 22 and dividing by 2 to equal 11. So 11 to the third power. So go ahead and type that in. I actually don't know what you get for that one. You should get 5,572.5 centimeters cubed. All right, the last one, a hemisphere. This is a terrible picture of a hemisphere, but a hemisphere is just a fancy word for half a sphere. So we are going to do our same equation. My radius here is 5 inches, so 5 cubed. One thing to get the most exact answer that I want you to remember on this is whenever I type this in, I'm going to get an answer like that. I want you to keep that number in your calculator instead of writing it down. And then I want you just to divide it by 2 from your calculator. So we get 261.7 inches cubed. When you keep this number in the calculator without rounding it off, you just get a more exact answer by not rounding until your final answer. So that's why we like to do that. All right, that's it for spheres.